Hello and welcome to our cottage garden. I'm so excited for today's video. We're going to be doing an early spring garden tour. It's mid-April and we have some really fun things happening. So I'm just gonna walk you all through our cottage garden. We're gonna go over to the kitchen garden. I'm gonna show you some of our new beds and some garden updates, structural updates, what survived the winter, what didn't, and then show you some really nice color because that's really what we're craving this time of year, right? So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Anna Fable. We are in Vermont, Zone 5A, and we've had a very, very snowy, very cold winter, so I'm so excited that spring is on its way. Let's go ahead and get started here. Oh, this is our rose arbor, and we've put in this white picket fence yesterday. We actually just finished it, and we really wanted something that would distinguish garden bed from driveway, because I don't know how long you've been here, but this used to be all driveway and then kind of patchy lawn areas, but this was all driveway, and then we cut into it about 40 or 50 feet to create these garden beds just a few years ago. Last November we did our cobblestone pathway, so this is the first spring and the first garden season that we have our cobblestone path in, so I'm so excited about that. Every single one of these rocks was placed by me. The concrete was mixed by Bert, our cameraman, and my husband. And we dug up every single one of these rocks from the property. So as we would dig up the garden beds, we would save the rocks, and then we turn them into this cobblestone path. We have so many left over, so I think we're gonna do other projects that are similar to this throughout the border, because this only cost a couple $100 in cement to make. So we wanted to really create this division and separate the garden from the driveway, and now I think we've really done that. We have tons of climbers that are growing up, a clematis on either side, different varieties, and then we have this Zephyrin Druin climbing rose, which I just trained up the other day, that's gonna climb all the way over top, a really rich pink color, and then on this side we have an Eden climber, and this one is May Violin. Really, really beautiful. So yeah, there are just so many things that are starting to happen now. It's so funny because last week we got so much snow. Every single day of April so far we've had snow in the mornings. So this is pretty amazing that we have some flowers, and they're showing up to the party, which is incredible. So these are our cottage borders. We call these ones the long borders, and then we kind of differentiate that as our cottage borders. But this is all just part of our cottage style gardening. And so we have lots of repetition throughout of very, hardy, very doers, workers of plants, things like the autumn joycetum, boom chocolata geranium. We have lamb's ear, we have irises, we have, these are all the perennials, obviously, and then we have a repetition of those, and then some of my favorites, like Nepeta is probably one of my favorites, or it's also called Nepeta, but that's Persian catmint. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful, and I'm just so happy to see it coming back. It's like seeing old friends, isn't it? We have some ivory halo dogwoods in the back of these borders, and really the ivory halos are one of my absolute favorite shrubs. They're starting to push their new buds for this season, their new leaves. Our roses are doing really, really well. So we have these David Austin roses. This is the Alnwick, and this one here is the Olivia Rose Austin. And then here we have our Prairie Fire crab apple, and that's a really beautiful pink, like starts out hot pink buds from the very base of the tree all the way to the tippy top, and they look spectacular. And then here on the hillside we have lots of daffodils. We had some other spring colors, some pink geonodoxa, some crocuses, but we have these King Alfreds, are the really sunny, vibrant yellow ones here. And then we have these replete daffodils. We got so much wind and rain yesterday, and the rain just came in a deluge of rain, so I was really worried that all of these were gonna face plant, because the repletes, they just can't stand any rain for us. The second they get any rain, they're so top heavy because there's these ruffly double blooms of apricot and ivory, that any rain or wind on them and they just go straight into the ground. But luckily they started blooming this morning, so we were able to kind of miss that. I'm excited to see our ivory halos that turn this beautiful, again, ivory and a sagey green variegation on those leaves throughout the season. All throughout, we also have tons of spring bulbs. The pride tulips are coming up beautifully. So we have pink and purple pride going all all the way to the front door of our cottage. And then we have some beautiful leucojums. These are the summer snowflakes, and they just look like little fairy lanterns. And I love that over the cobblestone path. So I'll show you those in our next garden tour, which honestly, I think we're gonna do a garden tour probably every week in the spring. And then beyond that, right behind that, we have our snake's head fritillaries. And these, you guys, are so spectacular. They're all budded up. So they're called snake's heads because when they're in bud, about to open, they look like little snakes' heads, like that. And just the kind of the way that the stem curves up like that. Isn't that romantic looking? I just love that. Can you see that? It's so pretty. And then this one is open and it has this beautiful bell flower, and they're this gorgeous mauve and ivory checkerboard print all along them. I mean, they look fake. They look like fairy flowers. And then if you can see right behind them, we have one of my absolute favorite displays of the spring. And if you are using this video to kind of plan for your spring garden, this is one of them that I would highly recommend you write down on your list in your garden journal, is this combination of this Delft blue hyacinth with this topsy-turvy daffodil. The Delft blue hyacinths, there are this gorgeous, zingy, vibrant color blue. And at this time of year, this is just one of those that absolutely gleams in the borders. They just look so cheerful. They have this ombre effect where there's this rich, rich blue at the right at the stem, and then as it moves, the stalk, and then as it moves out, it kind of ombres to this gorgeous purple. And that paired with this beautiful topsy-turvy daffodil, which is a split corona daffodil, meaning that the trumpet in the center, instead of being that strong trumpet shape, is splayed out and split, and it forms in this beautiful shape of frilly apricot all along the outsides. And this particular shape is often referred to as sort of that hibiscus shape, and it's really, really gorgeous. And because this apricot is on the opposite as this blue on the color wheel, that orange and blue, this is just a beautiful pairing. So I would even do this at the front of a border. We have tons of them. They look so ruffly, so perfect in a cottage garden. And also because they have that hibiscus shape, if you live in an area where you can grow daffodils, but you have maybe more of that tropical or jungle type garden and style, you could plant these in there as well. And I think that would be a really nice early spring bulb for you. So yeah, we have so many fun things going on. We planted up our pots over here. Actually, why don't you come along this way and I can kind of show you some of our other daffodils. Basically, the only two daffodils that I plant now are the topsy-turvies and the ice follies, which we have a beautiful stand of right here. So if you want to come down this way, I'll show you this. And actually, before we do that, I think I'm gonna go in. It's a little bit colder than I was thinking. And I'm gonna grab a little jacket and then we'll carry on here. Okay, yeah, it got a little bit chilly. So I wanted to show you these beautiful daffodils here. These are the ice follies, and they are this buttery yellow with the ivory petals in the back, and they are so beautiful. They come back so well for us. The only funny thing that I've noticed is that some of them come back and the trumpets sort of turn an ivory color. So they sort of look like a Mount Hood daffodil, which is an all-white beautiful daffodil, which I wanted to have in our garden and haven't been able to. So there we go, 2 for the price of 1 there. But those are just so stunning, and that's why typically those are the only ones that I plant anymore, is the topsy-turvies and these ice follies. They come up really early. That name is so apt for these ice follies. Like, they do come back very early when we still have snow and ice on the ground. They're out there just blooming their heads off. We have some more here that we've planted that are coming up. These ones come up when they first start coming up, you know, their trumpets are so like squat. It's so cute looking to me. I just love that. It's really beautiful. Then we have some hyacinths that are coming back, this really pretty soft pink and that pale yellow hyacinth. I don't like putting that much yellow tulips or yellow hyacinths in the ground, because I kind of like the daffodils to be that yellow color, the daffodils and the forsythia, and then I like the other things to kind of do their own unique thing in the garden. But yeah, we have some more topsy-turvies in the borders, obviously throughout. Here we have these beautiful three barrel, these little containers that I just love. I put some cool wave spreading pansies in here, the Viola Whitrockianas, and they are gorgeous. I think especially this one, all of the faces are facing this way. So pretty. That deep periwinkle color with a yellow eye is just so cheerful. And then this one is a soft yellow and a deep purple. And I just think those look so nice in our barrels, which we sanitized recently. So I think right after this video, we're going to be releasing a video that's like the fundamentals of a beautiful garden, like really prepping your garden early in spring. So those chores that you have to do in spring, you know, how to do them, how to do the pruning, the sanitizing of pots, the things that you really need to do, and then most importantly, why you need to do them for the health and the beauty of the garden. So over here we have more of these beautiful, the daffodils, this split corona, gorgeous topsy-turvy. Pairs so lovely with the Chionodoxa, with the hyacinths, with basically everything that's blooming right now. But this lamb's ear and the Chionodoxa coming through it, I mean, the Chionodoxa has been in bloom all month. So, I mean, three weeks so far, and it's just still looking nice, still looking pretty. And that pairing, blue and apricot, so gorgeous. Oh, and the lamb's ear looking so good. But that pairing, if you can pair lamb's ear and Chionodoxa, topsy-turvy and Delft blue hyacinth, I think you're standing in good stead for the springtime. Here's our porch bed. I'll just kind of quickly show you. We've pruned our boxwood, so we have this kind of a pyramid, kind of a cone, kind of just like a Christmassy tree shape for this boxwood here. Our weeping blue, white spruce, excuse me, and then a little blue spruce ball. Nana's globe over there, cedar, Japanese cedar, and then this is a limelight prime hydrangea that we've pruned back, and tons of lovely things in here. Some geranium, or excuse me, geums that are this gorgeous apricot color. So really fun early one. And we have alliums and tulips and things coming up as well. And then here we have this gorgeous Iris reticulata that's still blooming. We do have some more Iris reticulata that's just started blooming. So that's really fun. This is a really rich blue color with yellow at the throats. And you know, typically we get the blue harmony, the harmony variety, that's this really beautiful blue color, rich blue, coming up first. That one was just smothered in snow this year. And then we get the rich deep purple, which is a really warm purple, and it kind of gets lost in our mulch. And then, yeah, this one now coming up. So it's this is sort of like a combination of the two. It's like a purpley blue. So that's really fun to have that coming up along with these beautiful topsy-turvies. This columnar boxwood is doing well. We pruned those up as well. A lot of you have asked what these are in the borders, and those are just a columnar boxwood. We got them at a tree farm here, and they didn't have a variety on them. We have lamium and Shasta daisies and phlox and penstemon all throughout the borders. But one thing I did want to tell you, so I told you that, you know, the David Austins are there, and we have 3 other roses as well in here, and they come up here, kind of flanking. So we have roses all throughout. They're soft pink. We got these at our box store, and I don't even think they had a name on them. It was really early in the season, and they just have never performed well for us. And then they basically died all the way back to the ground this year. So we're gonna definitely remove them. And I'm thinking of either replacing them with another variety of a soft pink David Austin rose. I love the Alnick, I love the Olivia rose, but there are so many other varieties to try that would be fun here. But maybe we'll put some dahlias, some pink dahlias in here for now. I'm not sure. Let me know what you think. Pink dahlias might be really fun to put in there. And they bloom throughout the season, and they're such big shows of color. Our fairy roses are looking fantastic. Those ones are they're so stunning, and they're so happy, and they bloom for so long in the year. We have some more of the spreading pansies here. A baptisia that's coming up. Our pride tulips are coming all the way down to the front door, so that's really fun to see those. We have some foxgloves all throughout. Peonies in the back of the border. You know what's funny about these peonies that we have here? So we have a bunch of peonies in the back of that border, our cottage borders, and then we found these 2 peonies in the woods, out in the woodlands, and just dug them up and planted them here. And traditionally, kind of peonies are one of those that some experts say don't transplant well and not to transplant them and things. We have had, they've taken and they were teeny tiny, and we got blooms on this one last year. So we'll see how these fare. But this columnar boxwood is here as well. Our evergreens on the hill are looking gorgeous. This beautiful golden cedar that was a gift from a friend of ours. The fat Albert, blue spruce, an Alberta, dwarf Alberta, a couple of thuyas, little arborvitae balls, some junipers, this beautiful pine, a Norway spruce, and this gorgeous pine. I love this blue-green foliage of that pine, and then some thuya green giants behind that. This tree, kind of dead tree there, it's a willow, it's a pussy willow. But I actually love leaving it because the chipmunks live in there. The birds always come and land there. It's just really nice. I don't know. I've decided to leave it. We have a quick fire hydrangea, yellow twig dogwood. Both of those I absolutely love. And we have an Equinox Valley lilac up there that I'll show you in the next tour because it's all budded up and it's about to bloom. So that's really, really fun. And it's named after this area, Equinox, this area. So we have our hellebores here. I cut back the foliage and they look so gorgeous. This one in particular, this is a beautiful pink hellebore. I showed you in the video recently, but what a gorgeous one. I love it. How pretty if this was filled with these, huh? That would be gorgeous, wouldn't it? But yeah, these are evergreen. The leaves on the hellebores are evergreen. I cut back the ones that had died, and all of our plants from the kitchen garden, the bulbs from the kitchen garden, are starting to bloom, which is exciting. They're all budded up, which is fantastic. And then we have our bistro set. We just painted this cottage white to match our window boxes and to match the white picket fence that we just painted in the rose arbor. And we have this little terracotta pot that matches our urn in the dining garden, and we planted this up with just some small, really pretty white snapdragons. Such whimsical flowers. And then we have topsy-turvies flanking this side of the path. Lots of peonies, like I said, here. Some heucherellas, which is a combination of tiarella and heucheras. We just pruned our boxwood balls, and I think these look really nice, our little boxwood spheres. I think this one in particular turned out really well. Gosh, it's almost addictive when you get out here with your secateurs. You kind of like just want to keep going. But that's a really fun chore. Pruning is probably my favorite chore in the garden. Yeah, I'd say. What's yours? Mulching?
No.
Weeding.
Weeding or clearing? Yeah.
Weeding and clearing. Yeah, those are yours. Mine are probably pruning and mulching. Deadheading. It's kind of pruning. That's kind of cheating, but there are still so many leaves in these borders. We have cleaned these borders out of leaves like every day, I feel like. And because the problem is that we live in a deciduous woodland. I'm on repeat with that, but we have so many beechwoods here and so many oaks, and a lot of them they hold on to their leaves and then they drop them in spring. So it's kind of like starting in fall, in the autumn, we're kind of cleaning up leaves all the way through spring. They just keep coming and coming. So stay away, I'm hiding you in the mulch. So I have two different varieties of hyacinth through these borders, and the Delft blue are those ones there, and then the softer ones I think are the blue jackets. I could have that reversed, but I know we have Delft blue and blue jackets, and yeah, they both are just fantastic, and especially on the breeze. The front of the cottage, just at this time of year, it just smells so amazing. It's just that rich hyacinth smell. But because, we're on the side of a mountain and we get a lot of wind here, it's just this very pleasant, inviting scent that leads you, kind of like draws you down to the front door of the cottage, as does that color that we just put down there, which I'll show you in just a minute. But I think the whole thing is just kind of guiding you to the front door, which is really nice. I wanted to show you this because I just think this is quite cute. So, we have all of these hyacinths, and then we have these little grape hyacinths as well, which are sort of like, they're like a miniature hyacinth. And I think that's so cute, kind of seeing the big version next to the smaller version. And these are looking really great this year. Sometimes they bloom so early that they get too covered in the snow, but this year they've kind of bloomed perfectly with the hyacinths. I love that. The Spessart geranium, I mean, look at that plant. Look at it. It's huge. It's so big and happy. And this is another one that stays evergreen. Oh, those leaves. I've missed that smell. It's so nice. The ivory halos are looking fantastic. So this past year, the red twig dogwoods over here, the ivory halo dogwoods, got so huge. And then the ones over here stayed a little bit smaller. I think it's because deer got in and kind of nibbled on these last winter. So I didn't prune these hardly at all. I got rid of some of the dead branches, but and if they were crossing or anything like that. Dead, diseased, damaged, got rid of all of those. And then I cut these ones back really hard. So hopefully they'll have balanced out a little bit. So in addition to the blue hyacinths, we also have a white variety of hyacinth that's just really, really nice. It's this pearly, gorgeous color that really complements the blue of the other hyacinths, and it looks really nice against the dark mulch. It's really beautiful. All of our perennials are coming back really nicely. We might probably move this geranium here. The lamium there, that's like the first one that we planted. That one's not looking great, but the ajuga right next door is looking fantastic. So that's really encouraging, and the ajuga is all budded up. The lamium in the other places in our garden is looking wonderful. So we'll have to see about that. Gosh, all of the pride tulips are budded up. That's so fun. You guys, we're probably gonna do a tour in the next week, I think. It just is looking so great. Before I show you this color here, I wanted to show you our window boxes in case you missed that video where we put those together. We've never done spring annuals in here. It's usually just not warm enough and it doesn't make any sense, but it's been so nice, and the 10-day it shows like a couple of days in the 30s, but last week it was like the highs were all in the 20s. So it's been like that. It's just so crazy how that happens here. Do you live in a climate like that? I know some of you are in Canada and things like that, but man, it is wild how quickly it just shifts. Snow on the ground. We're going, is spring ever gonna come? Does spring exist here? And then it felt like overnight. I don't know, it's been an exciting year. But yeah, so we had time to put in these spring annuals, and I'm just loving them. They look a little cold and confused right now, but they're really beautiful. Again, they match the other ones that we have in the pots there, in the barrels. So that's lovely. This is a beautiful purple flowering clematis that just goes all the way up, and I love it. And I'm really hoping we can encourage on either side, but I think we might have nicked it at some point when we were back here clearing things out. So I'll just have to clean that one up. But it's a beautiful double clematis, and it looks beautiful with all the foxgloves that we usually have here, which we'll have to replace. We have one foxglove here, but we'll have to replace those. Oop. Our Pinky Winky hydrangea standards made it through, and they're looking lovely. And we have a couple of these hanging baskets filled with more of those violas. That is really fun. Some arborvitaes here, and then the wreath that we made. So the other day we made this wreath with you, and the berries are doing well, the little green berries, but the flowers, they lasted really, really well. We just kind of plunked some flowers in there, and the only problem was, I think it's because it's been so cold, they really held up so well in the wreath. But the only bummer was that in the wind and the rain yesterday, we got so much wind and rain that they did not handle that well, and they were just sort of strewn all over the place. But here at the end of our path, we have these beautiful creeping phlox that we just put in, and I think that looks so gorgeous, just tumbling over the rock. I'm really hoping it sort of spreads out and fills in over here really beautifully, because that is a gorgeous creeping phlox, very hardy down to zone 3. And then we have a beautiful hyacinth that's this rich, warm purple color, really beautiful with those stripes on the inside of the flowers. Absolutely gorgeous. So our two Pinky Winky hydrangea standards, underneath these hydrangea standards, we did in the times of yore, aka every year, but this year we have had scilla, blue scilla underneath them, which is just sort of like a skirt of blue underneath them, which would not have looked beautiful. And this year we got one of them and then a bunch of seeds. So I don't know what's going on with that. We'll see. But yeah, all along this path, we've re-sowed some grass seed. So that'll be interesting for us to kind of meander through here. We've been kind of picking our way gingerly across, and so I'll try and do that here now. But this is our juniper bed. I've cleaned up the juniper. It had a lot of dead in the bottom. We're definitely moving that this year. And we're gonna have to rename it. I think we'll probably just call it the shade bed, because it's really a display of some of our absolute favorite shade perennials. They're just gorgeous. And I think I want to do shade annuals along here as well this year. Lots of tulips, the pride tulips, apricot pride tulips that are coming up. We have a parrot tulip here, either that or it has tulip fire. We'll see as it starts to bloom. I think it's a parrot tulip though. I think it's the purple prince parrot tulip coming up here, and so that's about to bloom, which is exciting. We have brunnera, we just planted some heuchera, astilbes, lots of fun stuff back here. Another pinky winky, but not a standard. So here in our shade bed, we just put up our bird bath for the season because it looks like we don't have any more days with freezing temperatures. And it's so lovely to see it here. We just cleared it out. At the end of each winter, it just gets this like black fug in it. It just is this like really nasty looking color. And so we cleaned this out with some vinegar and a toothbrush. I looked it up, and that's apparently the best way to do it for a bird bath, so that you're not, getting anything that's dangerous for them in there. And then we rinsed it out really, really well, scrubbed that out with a sponge, and then I put a couple of little rocks from the property here in that, so that the birds can kind of come have a little landing pad and just enjoy some water and baths. And it's so nice. I work right there, so I get to like look out and see them just splashing around, which is really sweet. I love the way that this geranium looks, the spessart just spilling over these stones. And these stones as well were all dug up from the property. So everything, all of the stones in the cobblestone path, all of these stones, then we have tons of other piles of stones and rocks in one of our previous videos for the daffodil border, which we will show you later. But one of you that's in the back garden, and I'm really excited to show you that, one of you was saying, don't throw that stone away. Bert had kind of taken a throne and kind of thrown it. Well, we kind of put our stones down at the bottom of that little hill. But beyond that, even if we were to throw away all the stones, we have a wealth of stones. We are stoned up to here. That sounded terrible, but we are not short of stones. We have so many of them. They're coming out of our ears, honestly. So yeah, not to worry. We have lots of plans for the stones that we do have, and we have plenty more if we need them. But this spessart is looking beautiful, and Nepeta here, and then this gorgeous pulmonaria here, beautiful lungwort. I love that underneath the bird bath, and we have a little tiarella that comes up beside that. That's all budded up, so that'll be coming up soon. We have lots of beautiful things in here. Alchemilla mollis. We have some sweet woodruff. The juniper, again, not a typically shade-loving plant, which we will transfer to a sunnier spot. And euonymus, we're probably going to transplant that as well. And we'll probably put an ivory halo dogwood there to kind of continue that story. And, Nepeta isn't known to love shade, but it's done pretty well for us here in our shade bed. And then here we have some forsythia. Beautiful, beautiful yellow bells of flower, just so early in the season. And we had talked about removing them because they were here on the property when we moved in. And I think I think it started out as one plant, and then it just, they kind of, these arching branches reach down to the ground, that's how they spread, sort of like playing hopscotch. They spread like that and then spread again. And so I think they've just kind of spread like that throughout the garden. And we wanted to get rid of them just because they're kind of reaching, and, it would be really fun to put hydrangeas in here. But then we thought, this color in the spring is just so, it's what we're craving, is just this color. And I do love the arching branches in this time of year. I just think they're very architectural and very fun and really beautiful this time of year. And it's a nice bright spot at the end of the border. And we've talked about this in one of our cottage, our garden design videos, where if you put yellow at the end of a border, it really makes the garden feel bigger. So that's kind of a trick that was already here when we moved in. So kind of borrowing that. And then we have these gorgeous easy daisies that are this warm pink color, and they have a yellow eye. So I wanted to put them here in this ivory urn next to our ivory colored. It's not ivory, but next to these forsythia, because I thought the yellow in the center would pair really nicely, and that warm pink with the yellow is really nice together. We have some daffodils here that are doing well. It looks like we have some more ice follies, and we have the bloodroot here, Canadian windflower. These are really gorgeous, and when it's nice and sunny, they open up like really beautiful anemone shaped flowers. I said it right. Some more boxwoods flanking this area. And oh yeah, we put in some bird cages up here. Some really beautiful like Victorian style bird cages, which I think those look really, really nice. And I was thinking that wouldn't it be fun to put some beautiful spillers kind of tumbling out of those? I was thinking something like Ipomoea, or I don't know, maybe a Supertunia or something like that, just kind of spilling out. And Bert was saying maybe Dichondra silver falls, because we love having those in our hanging baskets on either side of the front door. So that would kind of call back to that. I think that would be really pretty. So yeah, let me know what you think. What do you think we should do? Because this is all just green, a backdrop of green. So maybe a dark colored Ipomoea and maybe that silvery Dichondra silver falls would look really nice in contrast to that there. And I think I'm going to plant this up with something really bright and vibrant this year. Last year I just had the heucheras in there, these dark purple heucheras. Yeah, I think we'll do something a little bit different this year. Here's our Jacob's ladder, which we had in our Miyazaki container last spring, and I just think it's so cute. It has those pinnate leaves on either side, like climbing up like a ladder, like Jacob's ladder. Beautiful. Lots of foxgloves in here. Tiarella, another one here. Some violas we grew from seed last year. Really nice. Another daffodil, some yellow hyacinths here. Those are pretty, very nice. And here we have one of my favorite hydrangeas, one of my favorite shrubs. This is the pinky pollen ring, smooth lace cap hydrangea. So beautiful. It's abuzz with pollinators. That inner circle is like this really fertile, pollen-rich inner circle of this baby pink, like fuzzy baby pink, that the pollinators just go crazy for. They're all over. I mean, you can hear them as you're walking down the cobblestone path. It's almost like the air is vibrating with the life of that. And they're just, the plant itself is so beautiful. It does so well here. And this plant is native to North America. So it's a species of the variety of hydrangea that's native here. So really, the pollinators absolutely love it. And it's a gorgeous soft pink and kind of creamy white. Lovely, lovely plant. And we finally found another one. It was like, you know, last autumn when we were just kind of shopping around at a garden center, and I said, that's it, that's the one. I had no idea what this variety was, so I didn't know the name of it for years. And I finally found it, and we've got another one. But as you can see, there's a little bit of a height discrepancy here. So because these are smooth hydrangeas, they bloom on new wood. So we can cut this one back a little bit farther so that they're a little bit more evenly matched, but it might be a little bit like this, and you might have to look at it like this for this season. But here, this is really sweet. Bert was clearing back here in the dining garden, and he found this little hummingbird nest on the ground. It had fallen on the ground. But how sweet is that? Isn't that precious? When it's in the tree, we leave it alone, but it was on the ground. And look, you can see the little birch bark that it peeled from our white river birch on the property. It's so sweet. Some great wild grapevines in there. Oh, they're so tiny. Oh my gosh. So he plopped that right there. I thought that was really cute. And then here, so this is the entrance to our dining garden, and typically we have an arch here that separates these two spaces, and we have a clematis that grows up it, a soft star-shaped pink clematis, and then on this side we do morning glory that climbs up and they kind of kiss in the center at the top. But this year we had so much snow, and such heavy snow. I think it was like a record for how much snow we had this year, and I wouldn't know because we were gone this winter. We missed it. But yeah, when we came back, it was pretty much done. So we took that out, the arch here. It was like, we called it like the Robinson Crusoe arch. We just made it from things we found on the property, put it together the first year that we were here. And I'm so glad that we did that. And so we are going to replace it, and I think we'll replace it with something that, looks a little bit more similar to the other structures that we have in place, like the rose arbor and things like that. And we'll probably paint it cottage white as well. I'm gonna put my hands in my pockets because it's getting cold. But yeah, one thing I would say is if you're just starting your garden this year, that just started. Like I'm so glad that we did all the structures the way that we did them, because you just do them as budget and time and your own personal style allows. So just kind of putting things up. And we knew that this structure wasn't going to last forever, but we thought, oh, we'll either replace it or we'll do something different there. But you're always going to change. Your garden is ever evolving. So just don't be afraid to put something in for fear that you'll have to remove it, because you're going to have to change things anyway. That's just the nature of these things. You'll learn more about your garden. Your trees will grow, and an area that used to be sun will now be shade, and things change and evolve. But just get started and get something in there, because it is really, really fun. And it's actually really fun right now at this point in the season, because now the whole garden looks like one space. I like dividing it and I like having these separate areas, but in the springtime, I don't know, it's kind of nice not to have that arch up, because now everything just feels very open and free. So this is the entrance to our dining garden. So here we have our 2 little jelly bean cutouts, and in these we have some gorgeous scarlet baby tulips that are a small Turkish variety, very small, low growing, super early blooming tulip. They're the earliest to bloom on our property. They're a bright, vibrant red, and they're next to the Iris reticulata. Again, these combination between that rich blue of the harmony and the dark purple that we have. Really fun to see those coming out this time of year. But that pairing of the blue and the red, Superman colors. Bert loves those color combinations. So it is all the primary colors, right? You have the red of the tulip, the blue, that blue color of the irises, and then in the sunshine, these open up to a yellow throat. And we also have these yellow daffodils and the forsythia there as well. So all the primary colors here, and these vibrant colors do draw you down the path down to this area. And especially in season, it's much darker back here. So I really want to have some bright colors back here. But those are some more of the King Alfred daffodils there. All of the perennials that we put in last year have come back. All of the geraniums, the brunnera, the astilbes, and the haconocloas. Here we have the same thing basically on this side, this jelly bean. And yeah, all of these have come back. Our spessarts that we transplanted from the other garden. Look at how many of these scarlet babies there are. I love how they're sort of spiraling upward. Isn't that beautiful? They're just so pointy and pretty, and then they look like totally different flowers in the sunshine. They're like wide open, just happy, like hugs of plants. The brunnera is doing so well. I love how cute this looks, like a little miniature plant. Look at it, this fuzzy leaves. So hopefully that'll get nice and big and start to bloom those daisy blue flowers. Lots of tulips and alliums and lots of things coming up. Here we have the replete daffodils, more of those. See, these have already broken. See, this is why I don't really plant these that much in our garden, because these have already broken. They're so top heavy, they're beautiful. I love that warm apricot center, and then the ivory petals. They're really, really gorgeous. But yeah, they don't attract, double flowers tend not to attract as many pollinators. And also, yeah, they're a little too top heavy for how much late snow we get. We have a little pagoda and this beautiful urn here, this large terracotta urn that we got in New York in the flower district. And we put some purple tulips in there, which I thought that would look gorgeous, that glaucous foliage against that sort of peachy color of the terracotta. And they looked great. We have them in a pot inside of the urn, and then we had them on another plant pot, like a recycled plant pot underneath, but the weight of those got too heavy in all the rain and it broke the pot underneath. So we kind of had to cobble that together and put something else in there. What did you end up putting in there? A log, which we are not short of either on this property. We have lots and lots of trees. Thousands of trees on this property. So here we have all of the haconocloa, Japanese forest grass is all coming back beautifully that we planted last year. I can't wait to see all of that. And this was Bert's idea actually, because this Japanese forest grass is just going to tumble over these rocks, this rock wall. And Bert was saying we should have a red Japanese maple here. So we have the red of the Japanese maple that'll kind of call you down, and then the yellow of the Japanese forest grass, and we could add blue in the form of, blue hosta, something like that. That red, yellow, and blue would be really pretty. The violas are coming back in the rock wall. I think that's charming. All the daffodils that we planted together last year are coming up. The lamium that we transplanted, all of it is coming up. All the ferns, all the way back there that we transplanted from around the property are coming back. And look at these pulmonaria. Oh my gosh. These were a gift from a friend of ours at our local garden center, but they're just beautiful. These are clearly two different varieties, and I don't have the name of them on hand right now, but that blue is just gorgeous. And on each of them, they open up this pink color, then they turn to this purple and blue. So on one little cluster, you can have pink, purple, and blue flowers, these bell-shaped flowers against these leaves with these beautiful spots on them. And then they have these, again, these strappy leaves that'll come out like that in the season. And they just are really these beautiful sort of long rosettes of flowers, of foliage, really gorgeous. And because of those light colored speckles, they really glimmer in a border in the shade, which is, this is going to be this very dense shade. A repetition, we have hostas and things in here, but there's a repetition of this Japanese forest grass as well here. So again, that'll tumble over there. We have some more purple tulips here, little pot on the stump there. And that one's wild as well, kind of wild. And then we have some beautiful ground cover epimediums here, which is like these little bishop hats. They're so charming, looking like little fairies dancing. So those are all budded up. Those are about to bloom, which is really fun. We have some periwinkle that's blooming as well. So that'll be neat. And I really want to, I'm excited to plant this up this year. It's really fun to have this established. I'm glad that we did that together last year. So here we're sort of thinking, oh, it might be kind of fun to put, I think we'll probably do annuals and things here, but it would be really fun if budget allowed to do like a waterfall here. Wouldn't that be gorgeous to kind of come through there? I think that would be stunning. And we have a couple of 3 green giants, which honestly are, it says that they're more shade tolerant, and they are definitely more shade tolerant. They don't look too bad for being in a slightly shadier spot. Here we have our viburnum looking really good. Oh, it's all budded up. It's coming back. Our Nepeta is coming back that we transplanted. All of our stilbees are coming back. So fun. The tulips that we planted. We have tons of lily of the valley all through here, which is really, really, really fun to have. So yeah, everything seems to be coming up really, really well. I'm very excited that we planted all that together, and I'm really excited for this year. I'm thinking I'll just put annuals, like really bright annuals, all up the hillside there, because I think that would be fun in little clusters. Let me know what you think and which ones you think I should put up there. I'm thinking impatiens. Go heavy on the impatiens because they do really, really well over here. But we're probably going to get a bigger dining table for in here, like an outdoor dining table. We just thrifted this one, and I think we'll probably get a bigger one. But this is our Easter basket display that we put up, and it's out here because of Easter, but we'll put it back on the porch here now. But I think we're probably going to head over to the kitchen garden, over to the veggie patch, because we've planted up those beds with tulips. So let's go check that out. I'm excited. We haven't seen them in a couple of days.
Yeah.
Okay, come on in. So the tulips are really coming along, hey? That's exciting. Look at that. So we've planted up 12 of the beds with tulips, all different kinds of tulips. We planted them up pretty late. This is our herb bed. We have lots of things that are just wonderful. Gorgeous lemon balm that we harvested for our apothecary video recently. That was such a fun video. I love talking about herbalism. So that's really fun. Thank you for allowing me to share some of that here. But yeah, we have all of these different ones. This bed is probably looking the best, probably because it gets the most amount of sun. But yeah, everything's looking good. I'm really excited. So this whole tour is kind of like a before, and then you'll see the after. One thing I wanted to share is that this stump obviously has been here since we moved in, and I love it because it does have turkey tail mushrooms on it. But I'm thinking I kind of want to remove it. Every year I've been putting like a pot or a container on there, and I don't know, I'm just sort of feeling like I want it to look a little bit more clear all the way up. But let me know what your thought is. We have turkey tail in a few other places on the property, so it's a great medicinal. There's some research into it being helpful for cancer. Yeah, let me know what you think. I think I'm gonna remove this one. We have another stump over there anyway. But yeah, we have tons of tulips in here. I think we're gonna get a beautiful display. We cleaned this up last year, and I'm really glad that we did that at the end of the year, because it's nice to come out here and see some life. They're all budded up. I think in a week. I think in a week, 10 days, we'll be doing another tour here, and it will look totally different. We'll have green and the trees behind us. We have this, what's it called? Boyne raspberry. And it's really coming back. It's got, you know, there's tons of leaves all over it. So that's really fun. And yeah, our bachelor's buttons are coming back. We have some daylilies in the back of those borders that are coming back. So it's all looking good. Our bistro set's looking good. And I think we're gonna start to sort of play around with structures and really putting things up. You know, we're gonna do a larger, you know, pea cages, bean tripods, tomato frames. I like to do the tomatoes where you kind of create this sort of a structure. 2 sticks coming like this, and then a stick coming, a branch coming above, tying them together with twine like that, and then taking the twine, tying it here, and then tying it down and burying it with the root ball of the tomato, and then winding the tomato up like that. And that works really, really well for us. It's a great way of just having them kind of grow up at their own pace. It's really easy to keep on top of them, really great. And our favorite variety of tomato is the Sun Gold, which we've already started from seed, and they're doing really well. So we have lots of those to play around with, but we're gonna rotate the beds. We're gonna do a little bit of crop rotation here. So now I think we're gonna go ahead and just check out the daffodil borders, and then we'll close out. Yeah? All right, let's go to the backyard. So this is the side of our house. This is the north side. We don't usually show this side of the house because we haven't ever really tackled it. You know, the deer love to graze here. So we do have tons of forsythia here, which obviously is very leggy because it's like getting 0 sun on the north side of our house. But yeah, I think I'd love to come in here and just tackle this with some shade loving, like full shade, deep, dense, dark shade, and deer resistant things this year. I'm thinking we'll go heavy on ferns, you know, so we'll see. But yeah, I'm really hoping that we can tackle that this year and maybe add some window boxes to these ones, and maybe put some shade lovers in there as well. But back here, we have our border started of the daffodils. Lots of daffodils coming up along the path, kind of through here. Ignore this patch. We accidentally burned a little spot in our yard with a fire pit one night. But we replaced that with some grass seed. We've sown some grass seed in there. But here's our border that we started. We're gonna do our sunken garden this year. And I'm thinking we'll use some of those rocks to do like a cobblestone kind of patio here, which will be really nice. This is like one of the sunniest spots in our garden, especially late sun. It's just really nice. It's really warm. It's completely enveloped. This is totally a green wall behind us in season, which is hard to imagine, but in season it's like all green, just completely all green. And I'm really excited to play around with deer resistance, full sun, annuals, some perennials, some of my favorite deer resistant perennials, and just wonderful ones. And I think we're gonna do lots of pots with herbs here. It'll just be really, really fun. But yeah, we have all of these daffodils and alliums here that are doing really, really well. You know, it's a lot of our leaf mold in there, so it doesn't look great, the mulch, but we're gonna probably put some more mulch on it. We mulched them up in the autumn, and we'll put some more mulch on it here in the next little while. So hopefully next time you are here, these are all in bloom. We have them mulched up and everything's looking fabulous. And this kind of continues on this way, which is really nice. I love these little clusters of the daffodils in the lawn. Isn't that fun? We saw this in Giverny in the north of France in Monet's garden, and there's just daffodils in the lawn. And I thought it was so fun to see those little clusters and clumps of daffodils. So I'm excited to see these this year. We're gonna do No Mow May probably. And then we might mow a little path through, but then to really see them come back next year, because we'll let during no-mow May, they'll be able to die back and really soak in all those nutrients and soak in all the energy from the sun so that they come back really nicely next year. But I think that'll be a fun little experiment. But yeah, let me take you back up to the front and we'll kind of say goodbye for now. Our little gate. I love these gates. They're so cute. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I'm so glad that we got to hang out together today in the garden. Let me know what growing zone you're in. Let me know what your garden is looking like. Let me know what kind of content you want to see in the coming days. This has just been so fun to grow the garden with you and to grow this channel as well. It's just my husband and I, and we're just having a good time. Me, Bert, and Georgie having a good time creating these videos and just getting out in the garden as often as we can, every single day. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you like, subscribe if you're not already. It really does help us out. Like I said, we're a very small channel and we're hoping to grow so we can bring more gardening content to more people. So subscribe. We'll be uploading a garden tour here again soon. So yeah, you'll be able to catch that. I'm so cold. My hands are like frozen. All right, I'm gonna hop inside and we're gonna get a cup of tea and we'll see you again very soon. Okay, bye. Where's Georgie? I need a Georgie cuddle and a cup of tea. You want one?